On my left is a watch that costs $500, the brand new G-Shock GPR H1000. And on the right is a Casio watch, an El Cheapo watch. For $35 is the brand new Casio WS-1700. Now, which one do you think the watch community was more excited about? The $500 one or the $35 one? Well, the answer may surprise you. The $500 watch people were more excited about it, okay? But the excitement level for the WS-1700 was a huge surprise, and some people were, like, their intensity of the excitement was way higher for the WS-1700. And there was not many negative things said about the WS-1700. Lots of negative comments said about the GPR H1000, the brand new Rangeman. Guys are still out there saying that this is not a Rangeman, okay? So, in an upcoming video, we'll go over some of your comments about the brand new Rangeman, or whatever you want to call it. I have a suggestion for a nickname, the Hard Pass. So many guys are saying hard pass on this one. Maybe we should call it the Hard Pass. I want to focus a little bit on the excitement level of the WS-1700. This watch dropped without a lot of fanfare, okay? The Rangeman, of course, had a lot of fanfare, a lot of promotional videos, a lot of hype built up around this release. And in January 19 to be exact, they finally released it in the United States. Earlier that week, Casio released the WS-1700. And I should mention, maybe some of you don't know, that Casio owns G-Shock, so they make these Casio watches and these G-Shock watches. So this is like a foil, a character foil between these two watches. And so we're going to compare and contrast them a little bit. And if you guys watched the unboxing video of the Rangeman, you'll remember my wife held these two side by side, and she was impressed with the looks of the WS-1700. Maybe subconsciously she was thinking, wow, Jimmy spent $500 on this hockey puck with straps. He could have just settled with $35. Well, there are some similarities, surprisingly. Let me get my pointer pen. The pointer pen today is the Right in the Rain Metal Readiness pen. So this WS-1700 has the moon phase and the tide. Okay, so that is a similarity with the brand new Rangeman, which surprisingly has what's called a widget. When you scroll here through the widgets, you'll find that there is a tide graph. Okay, and on the GPR H1000, you have to set what city's tide you want to see. This one came preset to Honolulu, but you hold down the rev button to reveal a setting that will allow you to choose between these settings will allow you to display the high tide and low tide in this graph. Okay, and of course I have not read the directions yet. I intend to. And by the way, Honolulu, it looks like, what are they at, a low tide now? I'm confused. There's like this RPM, this gauge. They're redlining. Honolulu is redlining, but it says L. All right. Obviously, I know nothing about this. I'll investigate. I may even read the directions. I may surprise you guys. I'll read the directions. I did promise to read the directions on the WS-1700. This may surprise you. I have not done it yet. I fully intend to, okay, before I send it to my brother. But anyways, this obviously is not as feature-packed in terms of the tide graph. As far as I know, in my limited understanding of the tide graph, that you have to set when the high tide is, and it will calculate, I guess it's like a clock, right? The high tide and low tide. So you can't set the city on the WS-1700 for the tide. It's all about kind of synchronizing this tide graph to the tide, whatever tide you're trying to observe. So in Acadia, Maine, it might be a little bit different than in Walston Beach, which is in Boston Harbor. And that might be different than Key West, Florida, right? So, there are those similarities, and you may not, it might be surprising to you guys, but there's some advantages actually to the $35 watch. See this stopwatch? This stopwatch is, well, it's about to hit 24 hours, believe it or not. And this stopwatch, I can't remember how high this stopwatch goes, but it's a lackluster stopwatch, that's for sure. Unable to display tenths of a second. Oops. Unable to display tenths of a second. Unable to display one hundredths of a second. And even though it has this heart rate monitor, it won't display it on the stopwatch. If you want to have a stopwatch running while you work out, you have to do it through the workout. You can't just have an ad hoc type of stopwatch and heart rate monitor running. That's a shame. And it's ridiculous that these fitness watches that Casio are making, these hyper advanced fitness watches, don't have tenths or one hundredths of a second. A football coach timing the 40-yard dash for his team, like everybody's going to be like 5 or 6 seconds, right? It's kind of ridiculous. I can't remember how high this goes. I'm sorry, but the timer. Oh, see, I'm trying to back out of the stopwatch. Pressing the back button doesn't back you out of the stopwatch. It adds a split. You have to long press the back, which adds a split. So the stopwatch is running in the background. This stopwatch has been running on the background. You can change the mode, no problem. So surprisingly, there's an advantage to this $35 watch. And here's the timer set for 23 hours, or 24 hours, minus 1 minute. And we'll get it going. And there's a little animation in the top right, that dial. You can see it ticking down. So it's a 24-hour timer. And this is my biggest gripe of this GBDH 2000 and the GPR H1000 is this ridiculously stupid timer. Okay, so I just showed you 24 hours on the El Cheapo. The maximum on this timer is 60 seconds. So the washing machine at my man camp, which a cycle takes 66 seconds, can't use this timer. That's a joke. And setting it is a cumbersome process of advancing the integer rather than the digit. One press at a time. You can't long press. Alright? So now that one's set for 1 hour. This $500 watch is set for 1 hour. And this $35 watch is set for 24 hours and ticking down. And I'm going to easily go to the mode. Oh, here's another thing. The alarms are right here. You just press mode to get to the alarms. You want to get to the alarms on this $500 watch, you have to dive through a lot of menus. You have to hold down, long press the rev button to get to the settings, select the settings, and then scroll down to watch settings, select alarms, and now here we have your alarms. No hourly chime. And this one I believe has an hourly chime. Yeah, so you have 1, 2, 3, and I believe that's the hourly chime. So yeah, isn't that funny? Like I've identified, and these are just basic things, right? I don't care about a whole lot about the highfalutin things on these hyper advanced, newfangled semi-smart watches that Casio is making. I care about the basic functions like the timer. And this $35 watch, the WS-1700 is winning in a lot of those basic watch functions, right? And of course, the second time zone has to be set manually by the user of the WS-1700. And this is one advantage of this hyper advanced watch, released in the year of our Lord 2024. Is that they have this world time widget, which will automatically display your selected time zone. So sometimes I work in New Mexico, unfortunately, and I have this set for Mountain Time, and the local time still appears on the bottom, which I think is pretty cool. But one problem about the GBDH 2000 is that when you set what time zone you want your watch to be, if you start up the GPS for a workout, it will determine what time zone you're in, and then it will change it on the watch, which absolutely infuriates me. So I haven't tested that yet on the GPR H1000, but I will, because they didn't fix any other problem with the GBDH 2000. And what I'm talking about, for those of you who don't know, is that this is the GBDH 2000, a fitness watch released in March of 2023. And this new Rangeman released in January 2024 is essentially the same watch. Inside, it's the same watch. It looks a little bit different because I customized the face, but it's the same watch inside. So there were some problems that I identified, and they haven't fixed them. They haven't fixed a single one, actually. And we'll go through. But anyways, just the surprise of the WS-1700 really added a lot to its appeal. Guys were really excited to see this one. And in my unboxing of this watch, seeing that, my wife actually found this one to be somewhat attractive, said that the El Cheapo Casio wins against this fail of a Rangeman, and that was Stephen Kopko, and he is of the camp that this is not a Rangeman. So he was gloating over the fact that there's a lot of this watch was well received. This one had all the fanfare, and this one grandstanded the Rangeman. Right? It's pretty crazy. And Elder Pinto says that I am still in love with that WS-1700. Try to order one, but it ain't easy. I'm in Europe. Yeah. So this one was released in the United States and Japan, the WS-1700. But I don't think it was released in all of Asia or Europe because, Elder Pinto wants this one. Can't get his hands on it. And there was a gentleman in another video I made of the WS-1700 who said it wasn't available in this market, and he was like, "Hey, can you get it for me and send it to me, and I'll pay you back?" And I thought I was being facetious. I thought he was joking around. I was like, "Yeah, which color you want?" Joking, and he's like, "Black." And then another video was like, "Hey, I'm the guy who asked you to buy this one." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize he was dead serious," but I could kind of see that because there's some Pro-Treks that they release in Asia, they don't release in the United States. And I've kind of been tempted to ask YouTubers, like, "Hey, go ahead, just send it to me, I'll pay you back, don't worry." But I'm sorry, guys, it's just the logistics of sending a watch internationally is just not possible for me, and I'm not into watch retail. I just have a whole bunch of G-Shocks in this bag, a whole bunch of watches. I'd love to help all you guys out getting watches that aren't in your market yet, but you got to be patient. As much as I'd like to help you, I just can't. But I will say that someone was selling the WS-1700 on eBay, and they're jacking up the price. So maybe there's an opportunity there if you are in the market where this is available. For those guys who don't want to wait and they'll pay a premium to have it now, maybe, hey, there you go. There's your side hustle, right? Sell the WS-1700, make a profit. Like I said, the logistics for me just not possible. But I understand completely. But you got to remember that you don't the appeal of this WS-1700 is that it's cheap. I called it a $40 watch because including shipping is just $40 for me, right? And I was really excited to get this actually, and I think it's pretty cool. It's like, I forget who a commenter was saying, it's like a retro futuristic, and it is. It has some interesting features that in 1980s would have been mind blowing. And I made a video about this, a little TikTok. There's this TikTok like a meme format now. A musician, wrote a song and on his keyboard, and it sounds like a '80s cop movie, and it's like, point of view, you're a cop about to hand in his badge and gun, and a lot of how TikTok is. Other musicians were joining in with the stitches, and then it kind of became a meme. You take the song, and it's like, point of view, it's 1986, and you're about to make the biggest drug bust in history. Anyways, I made one that's like, point of view, it's 1986, and your career is on the line. You have to solve this case. The only clue is that the shipment arrives at midnight at high tide. Good thing your watch tells you both. There's a lot of negativity about the release of the GPR H1000, and there's a surprise factor to this WS-1700, and it is well received. And I think that it's a good value. I really like this one. I'm gonna send it to my brother, and what I'd like him to do is sync up this tide graph and see if it works. Will he do it? I don't know. My brother's a busy guy, and his work has like this incentive program. You get all these good boy points, and you can cash in your good boy points for G-Shocks. And there's actually an old Rangeman, the original Rangeman, the Generation 1, the GW-9400, that he can cash in his good boy points for, right? But the good boy points will expire if he doesn't use them, all right? So you may laugh, but there's some central banks out there trying to get our whole economy running on good boy points that expire. Just to let you guys know, the first day of wearing the GPR H1000, on the positive side, it looks cool, but even though like overall it's comfortable, this metal keeper is pinching my flesh. So the GBD H2000 is still the top dog in terms of being comfortable. That's for dadgum sure. So someone asked me if it's worth upgrading, and the answer is no. If you have the GBD H2000, stick with that. Don't pay $500 to get the GPR H1000 unless that mud resistance is that important to you. This thing is so dang comfortable. And it is big, alright? But to me, maybe it might be different if you're a smaller wrister. And by the way, one other point is that, when I was heading out last night, Denise wanted to borrow a fitness watch because she's postpartum, trying to get back in shape. And she wanted this one. She had worn this one to a workout. And I was like, oh no, honey, take the DWH-5600. And she was like, oh. And she was so forlorn. I wish I had the camera running that you could see her face. When she was told she can't use the GBH-2000, she had to stick with the DWH-5600. All right? But she's being a good sport about it. The reason why I took this one is just to make a comparison video, because I know a lot of guys are gonna want to know if it's the comparison between these two watches. So I need the GBH-2000, the DWH-5600. Maybe I'll make a comparison video with that too. So I believe that the WS-1700 sold out on Amazon. I had a link for this for Amazon. I'll put it down there again. I bought mine from Casio. You may have to do the same. And hopefully the price will come down. And I really hope for you guys who live abroad that they release the WS-1700 where you live. The toughness is on the same level as the AE-1500. And, a little bit of a different appearance. But in my time wearing it, I enjoyed it, and I liked it, okay? This $500 watch A lot of guys are ripping on it. There's some good things that I can say about it, and so far I've liked wearing it, and I think it looks great. And this band is supple. This keeper is not. This keeper is not a keeper. I do not plan to keep this keeper, and maybe we'll reevaluate this watch. I mean, this keeper looks cool, but it's just one of those things. A lot of us are frustrated about this $500 hyped up watch that is a disappointment. And this out of nowhere surprise watch exceeded expectations. So I do have a poll up on the community tab, which one you prefer. And last I checked, 34% were more excited about the WS-1700. And 66% were more excited about the GPR H1000. That was the breakdown. And you can go to the community poll if you want to vote. Vote on that. I mean, which one were you guys more excited about? GPR H1000 or the WS-1700? Anyways, gentlemen, I just want to leave you with this comment. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him. I'm Jim Kincaid. Thanks for watching.